I get asked a lot of questions. Every day I get spammed by PMs. Most people ask me the same thing. Why am I so bad at Han, or what can I do to become a better player? I usually don't reply, not because I don't care, but because it's just too much to type out. If you've seen my basic tutorial, chances are that you already know how to play Han, you just don't know how to play it well. So here it is, my ultimate guide to not sucking. Not sucking starts as early as picking the game mode. First and foremost, don't play EM, ever. Trust me, you're not missing out on anything. Why? Because EM imbalances the game. It's been debated over and over and over for months and years, but just do yourself a favor, trust me, and steer clear of it altogether. Next, the game mode. Why would the game mode matter, you ask? Well, game modes all change the way you pick heroes. Next to playing the actual game and doing well, picking heroes is the most important part of Han and is continuously underestimated. Playing all pick might severely hurt your chances of winning if you're playing against what might be a very organized team. If you're new to Han, stay clear of AP. Not only will it prevent people from stopping you, but it will force you to play heroes that you normally wouldn't play, which is a good thing. The mode I recommend the most for new players is single draft because it gives you a nice mix of heroes without letting your opponents make a ridiculous team. Now, what hero to pick? I've vaguely gone over this in my other movies, but I don't think I've emphasized just how important picking heroes really is. Assuming both teams are equally mixed in skill, picking the right heroes is the single most important thing in Heroes of Newerth. Make no mistake, if you choose a terrible hero makeup in a higher skilled game, you've pretty much already lost. Now, don't take this the wrong way, there's almost no such thing as a bad hero, except Scout maybe. What matters is how your team is composed. First, you need to learn what heroes have what roles. For more information on that, watch my hero role guide. When picking heroes, I like to pretend I'm baking a cake. What would you use to make a good cake? Probably butter, sugar, flour, eggs, and maybe even some frosting. For a good hero makeup, you want a ganker, some support, some nukers, maybe a healer, and of course a carry. Having a good mix of heroes ensures a good team. Now just imagine the opposite. Imagine if you tried to make a cake with just frosting. That's disgusting. But sadly, that is what happens most of the time. The most picked hero class is carry. Your team only needs one or two carries, or one carry and a hybrid carry. Under no circumstances do you ever need 3 or more carry heroes. While it's true that being the carry is important, you should do yourself and your team a favor and play support unless you really need a carry. Yeah, your kill-death ratio might suffer, but that's why kill-death ratio isn't counted into PSR. You know what's counted into PSR? Winning, and that's what matters. Now, on to the actual game. If you just started playing Han, you're dying a lot and you're not killing anyone. The key to being a good Han player is to look alive. If I were asked to sum up all the advice I could ever give into a sentence, it would be look alive. What does that mean? It means stop taking damage from creeps and towers. If you notice you're getting hit by creeps or a tower, you messed up. Note that right-clicking enemy heroes makes enemy creeps attack you, so don't right-click people right away. Move closer to them by clicking on the ground, and then attack them quickly and back off right away so the creeps don't get to you in time to hurt you. Use hotkeys. Cancel hero animations. Hero animations will go on longer than they need to, especially auto attacks. But moving your hero right after each hit lands, you will get more attacks in. Hit F1 twice to instantly move the camera back to your hero. Stop auto attacking. It's okay to auto attack to get the creeps lower, but once they're low, you need to focus on last hitting and denying. Toggle health bars on by default in the interface menu. The color red should instantly trigger a reaction in you. Get a feeling for how much damage your attack does and be ready to last hit anything. If last hitting puts you in a dangerous situation because you're laning against tough early game heroes, only move in close to last hit or deny quickly and then back right back out again. If it's even too intense for that, stay back but stay in XP range. Although right-clicking heroes is typically a new thing to do because it makes the creeps attack you like I said, you can actually exploit this by right-clicking heroes to your advantage. If your opponents are bullying you and you can't last hit, right-click their hero until you are close enough for the creeps to aggro you. Once you have aggro, turn right back around and run towards your tower. The creeps will follow you for a short time, bringing them closer to the tower and closer to you. Once the creeps are on your creeps again, you can start last hitting again. You can pull neutral creeps from top or mid lane as Hellborn or Legion respectively, making your creeps fight them. It's a great way to gain experience and money without having to deal with enemy heroes. The typical strategy for lanes is that 2 people go top and 2 people go bottom, leaving middle to the solo hero. The solo hero should be a hero that's good at early game ganking. Often the solo hero will get a bottle to capture runes because he will be moving in between the lanes a lot. Communicate with your team. One person should always get a courier. One person should always get wards of sight. Words of Sight are the only item in Heroes of Newerth with a shop cooldown. This isn't a coincidence. Ward of Sight just happened to be the most overpowered item in the game. When the game starts, the person who bought wards should place one ward in the river so that he can see one rune spot. Every 2-minute mark, a rune spawns either top or bot. So if you put a ward top and there isn't anything at the 4-minute mark, that means that there is a rune bot. A good mid player will react instantly and capture the rune with his bottle. Typically, one person gets wards and a different person gets a courier, but having both is a good idea. Support heroes should buy these items. Later, someone should upgrade the courier into a flying courier. Don't upgrade the flying courier right away, it isn't usually very economical early on. Call missing. If a hero leaves your lane and you haven't seen them in 10 seconds or more, call missing. Voice communication is better than typing, but both is better than either. If you killed an enemy hero, don't forget to call missing once they resurrect. They might go into a different lane after coming back and gank your teammates. Don't just call missing though, read it too. Often people call missing without paying attention to other missing calls. It can be hard to focus on last hitting and denying and also pay attention to missing calls, but you have to. Look alive. Missing calls are in fact a luxury, and you should be able to look at your minimap every second in between last hitting. Count the enemy heroes on your minimap. I'm not joking, count them. How many are there? If it isn't 5, then somebody is missing. How do you know he's in behind that tree? Looking alive means being paranoid. Having wards in good places makes it so you don't have to be. In addition to being awesome for runes and predicting ganks, wards also stop neutral creeps from spawning. If you've ever been a victim to the before-mentioned neutral pulling trick, place a ward on their creep spawn. The neutrals won't spawn if there's a ward blocking them. Ping the map, a lot. People respond to pings. They're big and they're annoying and they will get your team's attention. If you plan on ganking mid, don't just say gank mid. Say it in voice chat and ping the map. You're likely to get a lot more help out of your teammates that way. Knowing when to group up and push and defend is important. If the enemy is doing a team push, ping the map and ask everyone to get in formation. If you're pushing with your team, don't stand in one clump. Spread out a bit. Carefully scout up ledges and up forests. Most opponents won't face you head on, they will flank you. Most fights are over before they start. Whoever gets the initiating blow often wins the battle. Don't let people sneak up on you. Counter enemy heroes that are making your life hard. If they have a behemoth that keeps stomping you, get a barrier idol. If they have a nighthound or scout or another invisible carry hero that's getting powerful, buy dust rewards early and often. Ganking is extremely important. By ganking enemy heroes, especially carry heroes, you demoralize the enemies and force them to farm instead of ganking, effectively creating a vicious cycle where enemy heroes are doing bad, they will choose to farm instead of ganking because it's a more reliable source of income. With less enemy heroes ganking and more enemy heroes desperately farming, it's easier to spot and gank people. Form gank squads. Randomly get 3 or more of your heroes together and roam in the enemy neutral forest. Chances are you will bump into somebody, especially if they don't have wards. Outnumber your opponents whenever possible. Wards in the enemy forest are a great way to find lone heroes. Wards do not lose effectiveness late game and should always be purchased. If possible, always carry a homecoming stone. If you know you're about to get ganked, just port away. Even with the hero already wailing on you, if they don't have a stun, they can't stop you from porting away. In conjunction with looking at your minimap often, port in to save teammates that are currently being ganked. Later in the game, never cross the river alone, especially with heroes missing. Saying, oh, it was 3v1, what was I supposed to do, is not a valid excuse. It was your own fault for being where you were, and you deserve to die. In team fights, know when to use what abilities. If you're a hero with a major ability that can change team fights, like Voodoo Jester or Glacius, wait for the right moment to drop your ult. Drop it once the fight has already started, so people can't easily just run away from it. Don't run headfirst into a team fight, even if your team is nearby. Even with your team close behind, it can be very easy to die almost instantly. Make sure your team really is ready to back you up right away. Portal Key is one of the best initiator items in the game, and it's virtually uncounterable. With heroes like Tempest, Magnus, or Behemoth, you need a Portal Key as early as possible. Blinking in with your ult can completely trample fights before they start.
It's over! Like a mouse!